Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's David DaCosta again. As you know, I'm your local realtor with DaCosta Properties and Harcourt's Prime. I am here on the park bench, and guess what? It's not raining this afternoon. The sun is shining, and the sun is shining and spotlighting Mike McDonald with Love Bus Records. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
So we're going to jump right in. We've got a great show. I want to hear all about Love Bus Records. So please describe your business for us.
Sure. We're just kind of a mom and pop local independent record store here located in Carlsbad Village. And we've been doing this for about a year or so. And it basically started, just because, I had a lot of books actually. And I started a little free library here in front of my house. I took an old rowboat and I stood it up on its end and put some shelves in there, and I had kind of this free library, a community library, and I started putting all my books in there. And after a while, I ran out of books. I had like 1,000 books, and they all kind of, people borrowed them. Sometimes they brought them back, but sometimes they didn't. But around that time, the city thought that was a great idea, and so they put little book libraries all over the place. And so I was filling their library, their tiny libraries as well, because they built them, but they didn't have any mechanism to fill them. So I just kind of put it on myself to fill them, which brings me to the record store. Then I noticed I had, thousands of records I've been collecting over the years. And so what I do is I sell these records. I don't make a whole lot of money off of them, but and I use the proceeds to buy books for all these little local libraries here in my neighborhood. So that's, kind of the evolution of it. And I'm kind of a people person, so I just really enjoy talking to other like people. We talk about concerts, and everybody has a good story about records, or that they had a record collection that got thrown away or missing or something over the years. And so I kind of am like an armchair record psychologist. I'm just like, yeah, man, we've all been there. And so it's more of a social thing. It's what separates us from other record stores is that we want to engage. If you want to engage, we want to engage. And we there's a lot of people who are getting back into music that haven't had been out of it for a while, and they kind of forget what they knew about music. So what I try to do,
I remember that album cover. I remember whatever, when the Beatles, or that rock concert that you really can't remember, you know what I mean? But it was a great scene, and it's nostalgic, and we're all maturing, right? And it's good to reminisce, and those are keepsakes, and you can't take those memories away.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so there's some we're getting a lot of young people in here, and they know what they know, and they get that from the internet. And then what I kind of try to provide is like, oh, hey, you like this band, maybe you like this band. And more times than not, I turn them on to some new music. And, we have, I have it set up where if there's any album that you want to hear that you're not sure of, or you just want to kind of reconnect with it, because sometimes music doesn't always translate over the years. Sometimes we loved it at one time, and then we're like, well, what were we thinking, liking this music or whatever? So I can play any album that I have, and we have thousands of albums.
And you do this in the store? Do you have like little sound booths or anything, or?
Yeah, no, we have a stereo system that plays throughout the place. So that works out. And
Well, great. I love the concept, especially when you're talking to a younger audience, and you're bridging the gap with music with the generations, and that's epic. I love it.
Yeah, and I have a lot of regular customers. I get a lot of new customers, and and word of mouth is really what's been kind of keeping us going here. And I mean, in the beginning, it was there wasn't that many people. I wasn't well known, but now I'm busy all day long, and like I said, I have
So let me ask you, how long have you been in the village now? A year and a half?
Well, I've lived in Carlsbad for about
no, I mean the store itself.
Oh, about a year.
So let me ask you, Mike, what has been your biggest surprise about this venture of owning a record store?
That's a good question. I think the biggest surprise I have is the younger generation knowing a lot about the music I grew up with. Because when I was growing up, the last thing any of us really want to listen to is what our parents were listening to. We just grabbed everything that was new. We'd go to Tower Records, go someplace, go to concerts. We didn't even have the internet. We had just magazines and word of mouth and the radio station. But so these kids that know so much about my music.
Did you have 8 tracks, or am I dating myself?
No, I definitely had 8 tracks. Certainly, cassettes. I have 8 tracks here, actually.
Wow.
Cassettes. Yeah, and I've worked at record stores before. I worked at Tower Records. I worked at Warehouse Records. I don't know if anybody remembers that,
Oh
but
yes. Oh yeah.
yeah. And I happened to be working at those record stores about the time
And that
that.
used to be part of your routine, your weekly routine. Every week, a week couldn't go by unless you went to the record shop, Tower or Warehouse or whoever, and got the latest album or what have
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I grew up in the Ocean Beach, Point Loma, San Diego area. So we went to the sports arena a lot, and then after the concert, we would go to Tower Records and buy
Across
records
the
after.
street. Yeah.
Yeah, late hours and stuff like that. So anyway, when I was working at these record shops, CDs were just coming up and vinyl was going down, and a couple of these managers were just like, well, the distributors don't want the records back. I don't know what we're going to do with them. I don't know if we're going to throw them away or what. And I go, well, I'll take them off your hand. And they're like, what will you do with them? I go, I don't think they should be thrown away. So I've been holding on to a lot of these records for 35 years.
Wow.
Some and a lot of my
A
are
lot of them are
old.
worth a lot of money these days, especially the album covers. Just it's incredible.
That's what
So
they
let
tell
me
me.
ask you, what are your customers telling you that they love most about, Love Bus Records?
Well, I think it's well, they like. I think they like that I'm. What sets me apart, I think, if that's what I think your question's going, how I'm set apart from other record stores is it is a social thing. A lot of times you go to record stores and you just go in there, you look for what you want, and sometimes it's, it's
Door,
not.
no interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think they like that, and I have a really good selection. I don't have a tired. Sometimes you go to used record stores and it's just really tired and you're picking through and there's not much there. I have stuff that I've collected for myself for 35 years or more. And so it's a lot of good stuff. So there's rarely, and I don't remember any time that if somebody's come in to buy a record at my store and not bought multiple records. So, and I get a lot of feedback. I'm on Yelp as well. So if you read the reviews on Yelp, you'll get a good flavor of what people like.
I was going to ask, what do you do besides work or besides your collection between books and the libraries, the neighborhood libraries, and then your record shop?
Well, thanks for asking. Yeah, well, before COVID, I was doing winery brewery tours in my old vintage Volkswagen bus. And because of COVID, that you can't really have too many people in a confined area, so that put an end to that pretty quick. And over COVID, I converted my 1970 bright yellow bus to electric, all electric. And since I have solar panels on my house, it's kind of, if you look at it right, it's a solar powered bus, right?
Wow.
So
Sell
you
that to
know,
Volkswagen, right?
yeah, sure. Yeah, I think they're pretty good on that idea. And
With the
so,
vintage bus going back to electric, I have a friend of mine that did that to his other car, and it's just insane. I mean, it's just wonderful insight on your part. And again, that hint of the nostalgia, I think, is the big appeal that for somebody like myself or my mature age, obviously. So how do customers contact you? Because we certainly want to spotlight you in the community on the park bench and embrace what you're doing, and we welcome you. But how do we get a hold of you, and how do we spread the word?
sure. Well, our phone number here is 614 Love Bus. So it's 614 LOVEBUS, whatever numbers those are. I don't even know the numbers, but it's easy to remember, 614 Love Bus. You can call me, or we're open on Saturday and Sundays. Only for now, we're only open on Saturday and Sundays 10 to 3. So, you know, and, you know, we have lovebusrecords.com. I'm just finishing up building an e-commerce website. So I'll be selling stuff more online as well as in person.
Awesome. And let me guess, do you have the Love Bus, the Volkswagen yellow bus, outside the record shop?
I have 2 buses. I got one full of records and I have the other one in the shop.
Wow. That is so good. Well, again, Mike, without, taking any more of your time, I know you're busy. You're a man of many features and talents. So I'll let you go about your day. And thank you for joining us here on the Park Bench. You heard it here first, folks. That's Love Bus Records in the Carlsbad Village. Go see Mike Saturday and
Thank
Sunday.
you.
Take care now.
Rock and roll.
All right.